Hello and welcome. It gives me great pleasure. It's 5:30 in Sydney right now, and it gives me great pleasure to get to you, someone who is very well versed in the area where I live, which is the Hills District in Sydney. And the person I'm going to introduce on my show today is the number one real estate agent in the entire Hills District. His name is Soha Soheli. We're going to talk a little bit about what the market is, what is the outlook, and what are the future buyers interested in this area. And should you buy your house? And if you need to sell it, should you sell your house? Should you buy another one? And all these tips. Let's talk to Soha, who is well versed in this. So I'll get Soha here.
Hi, Rohit.
Just give me a second, Soha. One second. Hello, Soha. Welcome.
Hello. Uh, yeah, thank you very much for your kind introduction, which was more than generous. I would say.
Look, I
Thanks very
must
much
thank
for
you.
having me.
It's been a it's I think Saturdays is the busiest time for real estate agents, and I must say that Friday must be your preparation. So thank you for your time today.
No, you're most welcome, and thank you very much for having me. Generally, that is the case. Saturdays are busy, but given the fact that restrictions and COVID and all that, it's been pretty slow in the recent weeks, I must say. But anyway,
So
thank you for this.
thank
Yeah.
you. So you have been a real estate agent since the last, you were telling me, last 14 years in Bella Vista. That's a record of sorts because people do move from different areas. So you've been sticking to the Hills District, Bella Vista, Castle Hill. Tell me this, is this by plan or was it just happened?
No, it's by design. That's right. Well, I started real estate late 2004, and with the exception of the first year, which I started my career in Jural, I came to Bella Vista, and ever since, basically, that was late 2005 until now, I have been serving the people of Norwest and Bella Vista nearly 16 years, and extremely happy where I established my career and love the people of local residents there. Love the atmosphere, and people have received us really well there, and there is no reason we would look elsewhere.
So how did you venture into this real estate? Was it by choice or again by accident, or how did you get into this?
Uh, it's a bit of a mix, actually. I was a choice, and I was kind of. I'll tell you a bit of my background so you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah, yeah,
about.
sure, sure.
Uh, I studied molecular biology. I got my
Oh, wow.
bachelor's degree in molecular biology from the University of Wollongong. I graduated in 1995. I'm sorry, actually, I came to Australia in 95 and finished 98 and studied there and got my degree. I kind of had to leave Australia and go back to Iran, where I'm originally from. I was there for 6 years managing a factory and came back in 2004. And initially, I was planning to continue on the same path, expanding my studies in the same line. I was offered PhD and all that. But at that age, when I came back, I thought it was probably too late to start all over and career the same. So I thought, okay, what can I do? I looked into real estate, studied a bit, and I thought that would suit me well. So that's how I started real estate. So when I'm saying a bit of both, kind of had I was I younger, 10 years younger, probably I would have stayed in the same line. But after that, I decided to change the career path. Having a child and family, it was too late for me to go back to what I was planning to do earlier in life.
And you live also in the Hills District, I believe.
That's right. I live in Beaumont Hills.
Yeah. And
Correct. And
how has this area changed since you have come in? I mean, there's so much change in this area, which is the only
absolutely,
constant.
absolutely. Well, Bella Vista. When I started working in Bella Vista waters had just basically come into the picture. Bella Vista Waters 16 years ago, 17 years ago, you would see, those modern architectural design homes were being built. There were many vacant lands back then, and more properties were being built. And I think actually it was Bella Vista Waters which put the whole Bella Vista in the spotlight. And ever since the price, we witnessed basically price rise in Bella Vista, including the old parts of Bella Vista. And then on the back of it, you had Norwest Business Park. Well, I wasn't in the area when all Bella Vista was farms, and I never saw Bella Vista back then being that way. When I started, basically the old section of Bella Vista was all built with just blocks of land here and there in the old section, and lots of blocks of vacant land in Bella Vista Waters. Again, Bella Vista Waters back then, 700 square meter blocks were selling for about $400,000. Now, $400,000 there is nothing you can find anywhere nearby. Prices of blocks of land in Bella Vista Waters are around 2.3, 2.4 now.
Wow.
Yeah, so the huge changes. You could have bought a townhouse for $350,000. Now, probably won't find anything under $950,000.
Yeah. So you mentioned that at some point you could buy perhaps a piece of land for $450,000, and now it's almost selling for $2.4 million. I think the question is it overpriced, or is it there's still potential for growth? What do you think, Soha?
Well, the subject of price is just you can't say something is overpriced, because as long as there is demand, there will be these properties will be sold at premium prices. We have never gone back in the last 16 years. I have never seen prices go back substantially. You have always had those, peaks and troughs, but those troughs were only for a short time. Property market always bounced back and actually surpassed the previous peak. So, you have never seen land price going back under what you've sold. I remember 2014, I sold a block of land for $700,000, and that was a record price. But prices kept rising and never stopped, and I don't think this trend will ever stop as long as there is, population growth, demand. You just put that picture on the screen. Basically, this is the future of Norwest Business Park and Bella Vista.
It looks beautiful, Soha. I mean, it looks world class.
Absolutely. Well, this is the vision for Norwest. If you like, probably I can just talk about
please.
Norwest, how it started and where it's heading.
Yeah, look, before you do that, Soha, I just wanted to advise everyone that people who are perhaps watching us live right now on Facebook can ask any question to Soha. Normally, it's very difficult to get him and contact him and ask him a specific question and nail him down. But this is the opportunity if someone has a question, and if we will still record it and play it afterwards. If you still have a question, perhaps you can get to Soha on this number which is on the screen and ask him that question. So yeah, Soha, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Well, at the moment, Norwest has basically about 2,000 homes in it, 2,000 houses, and 3,000 people live in Norwest, and it employs 30,000 staff or employees. This number is going to double and triple by 2036. The expectation of growth in Norwest is 60,000 employees, and and 20,000 plus businesses and corporations, whereas at the moment you have only 3,000. So that means that's going to bring a lot of people to this area. And beside, from 3,000 people living in Norwest, you're going to have 15,000 people. You can imagine what Norwest is going to be like by then. By 2050, the anticipation is that Norwest will be a smart city. It won't be just a suburbia. It will be Norwest City. I just mentioned one of the, I just go back a little bit. This all basically, I can't say started, but with the advantage of Norwest Metro, which started operating as of 2019, brought a lot of people. As you know, transportation is very important for home buyers and for families, commuting to work, school, and all that. So ever since, we have seen really good numbers of or new buyers or demography being attracted to Bella Vista. And prices started rising ever since. One of the projects that's due to be completed by 2029 is the Greens. I'm sure probably you have heard of the Greens that's being developed by Malfa. Yeah. That's comprised of, you can see it in those photos, comprised of 9 high rises between 8 to 26 stories, 864 apartments, 6,000 square meters of commercial, retail, entertainment. And one of the greatest or most significant attributes of this development is that it can feed its own power. It can basically generate its own power for all the common area. So it's a great project. And besides that, there is another 1,000 apartments going up, which you can again see on the photo right opposite the Greens. So a lot is going on.
Is this the lake which we on the which we see in Norwest? Is that the Norwest Lake?
That's right. Yes, correct. Wow. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So there are a lot. There are several developments that are happening in Norwest, and basically within 10 years, you would see most of those in the picture being completed by 2030. And that's why you can imagine. Yeah, it looks amazing, and that's why you can imagine what the property market will be by then, and why it should be improving year by year.
So according to you, you think that there is still a potential to go up, and if somebody was cashed up, well, this is the suburb to get in, even if the prices are $2.4 million for the land.
Absolutely, yes. The median, the median price since June 20 till May 21, it's gone up by 16% in Bella Vista and 9% in Norwest. But apartments didn't have the same luxury so far. They haven't had it. It's been 4% for apartments in Norwest. But as affordability drops, you would see more people getting attracted to apartments, and that's when you will see prices of apartments rising as well, and being a good investment property or a place to live.
Now, Soha, there are a lot of people in Norwest or Castle Hill or the Hills District in Sydney who may want to sell in this environment and make some money for themselves and live happily ever after somewhere else. What would be your advice to them? What's the best way to sell and get the top dollar for their houses or units?
Well, there is no one prescription for all. I have been saying that to every seller all along. You have to assess the market for every market, whether you are on whether the market is falling or rising, or what sort of property it is. I would say you would advise accordingly, and depending also on the circumstances of the sellers. It has to be judged individually. I can't just say the auction or private treaty for all the properties. Does that answer your question? Rohit, or they
It
address your
does in a
question?
way. In a way, I think I'll just take a tangent off to another question. With COVID one day disappearing, I don't know when, but there will be a lot of people coming from immigrants coming into this country, and there will be a lot of first home buyers, even people of first generation migrants who come here. So, is this a suburb for not talking of Bella Vista, but I'm generally talking the Hills district? Is this a suburb? Will this remain a suburb for first home buyers ever?
Absolutely. Firstly, our the first home buyers that we are dealing with today, they are not the same first home buyers that existed 10 years ago. Generally, these first home buyers are professional couples, and they have very secure jobs, high paying jobs, doctors, IT, bankers, and so they are fairly well off. So when we're talking about first home buyers 10 years ago or even 8 years ago, they had budget up to 1 million. Nowadays, first home buyers are 1.8, 1.9 even. Having said that, many of them are actually benefiting from their parents assisting them with their first home from overseas. Mainly, that has been the case, and they have that luxury. So, and Hills District is is mixed up, is a really good mix of all sorts of properties, from apartments, townhouses, duplexes, and luxury homes on bigger blocks, 1,000, 2,000 square meters. So there is a good variety to choose from for any type of buyers, including first home buyers. So
That's good.
Hills District will continue to attract those buyers as well. That's for sure. However, for some that with lower budget, they will probably land somewhere outside these suburbs you just mentioned, outside Hills District, possibly Riverstone, Box Hill now, and all those suburbs will be a new place for some other first home buyers, or even some downsizers. We have had many downsizers moving out that way, cashing in this market and moving out that way.
Now, I just want to also ask you, on the screen you see Agent of the Year 2016 right up to 2021. That's a record in itself. So, how do you manage this, and how do you feel? What do you feel? What's your USP that you keep achieving this thing?
Yeah, well, when we started, Rate My Agent wasn't there, and I didn't do it for to become number one or to get an award. This was out of love. We did our best. When I started real estate, my vision was, or my mission was, to do the best by my clients, and nothing has changed. When I go to bed and put my head on the pillow at night, I know I have done the right thing for all my clients.
And
And
you're working with your wife Sherry as well.
that's right. Sherry started working with me about 10 years ago. Ever since, actually, our business has definitely gone from A to B, I can say, because people can relate, probably, or feel more comfortable with couple or families, or, husband and wife too. It has helped us a lot, definitely. And Sherry's she's probably the face of the business out there. She's always out and about in the suburbs, walking and talking to people working on the lawn, and yeah, it's been really good for us.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah, that's those awards it's nothing, and it's not our aim to become number one, but the owners and sellers have been kind to us and trusting us all these years, and that's why they put us up there. That could
do
change,
you?
I'm sure, with the young generations coming on board. That could definitely change.
Well, I'm sure we'll see 2022 here as well, but wish you all the best for that. If I could ask you about the townhouses which are coming in the area, particularly around Norwest or Castle Hill, what's the average median price right now, and what would be your outlook for the future?
Um, well, I would say at the moment the average process for apartments is about 830 in Norwest, and same probably would apply to Castle Hill. Townhouses are about 900 to 1.3, so it's a big range there, depending on what you want, how old and where. But yeah, you talk about the newish townhouses, new townhouses,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. Newish type.
yeah, newish probably you won't be. Yeah, in Castle Hill, for example, townhouses range anywhere between 1.3 to 1.5 now. But yeah, in Norwest, again, you have townhouses ranging from 1.2 to all the way to 1.7.
Wow.
So these are the sort of prices you're looking at, depending what what sort of size. And yeah, there are, for example, Essentia, those are townhouses started selling for 1.4. Now they're up to around 1.7, even some of them.
So hello.
Yep.
Sorry, let's do that. So you're quite bullish on the Hills District as such, on the whole, then.
My main focus has been Bella Vista and Norwest for 16 years. I would say 98% of my sales and energy have been spent in Bella Vista and Norwest. So the remaining 2% outside these areas mostly have been by referral, by people living in the area, actually, in Bella Vista and Norwest. So I am devoted to Bella Vista and Norwest, or we
That's
are,
good.
myself and Sherry. Yeah.
Could I ask you, and this is a question I get a lot of time, and there's no perhaps a scientific answer for this. When is the best time to sell your? What is the season? Is it like spring, or is it winter? What should be the?
Very good question. I get this question often, with the exception of late December to late January. I would say any time is a good time to sell. People think spring is the best time to sell. Let me tell you something. Like anything else, like stock or whatever you find out there, gold or whatever that may be, commodities, it's all dictated. The price of those are dictated by supply and demand. Property market is not any different. In spring, you will see more saturation, actually. More people think their garden looks better in spring. That's when they come on the market. But everybody's garden look as good in spring. It's best to take advantage, actually, of a property market when there is fewer properties on the market. When there are more properties on the market, buyers have more options. When there are more options, prices will be affected in a negative way rather than positive way. So I would say the best time to sell outside December, January would be a good time. Just look at the market, monitor the market. When you see there is no property on the market, that's a great time to sell. Unless the economy is not doing well, the prospect is not good, we are in a recession, that's a different story. For example, in 2020, when the first wave of COVID came, when we all found ourselves in a different situation, market for a short time was affected. Buyers felt insecure. They thought they might lose their job. They may not have an income. So that was for a short period, the market was on the fall. But as soon as it was over, the market was back on its feet and probably jumped, actually. It just went over the peak pre-COVID. However, this time around, the second wave that we had with the second lockdown, we didn't experience the same thing. On the contrary, there were more buyers and prices were exceeded the previous peak because there were fewer properties on the market. The stock has been very low in the last 8 weeks.
Well, we would love to continue talking, but we got our busy lives as well, so far, both you and me. And but you're giving a very good perspective. I'm sure there'll be people who'll be watching this, and if there was someone who wanted to ask a question and felt a bit shy, well, you have Soha's number there. You got you can still comment on this video, and I'm sure Soha will get back to you and put it as a comment. So if you have any question, even on general real estate, do put in the comment box after we finish putting this live, and there'll be a recording on the Facebook pages. With that note, Soha, I really thank you very much and hope you have a terrific Saturday and the rest of the weekend, whatever is left of it.
Same to you, and again, thank you very much for having me. Thanks a lot, Rohit.
Thank you, Soha. Bye-bye.
All the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.